Look, darling, I am sorry, but I lost my key.
But that was 2 weeks ago. You cannot go on or keep ringing my bell. You disturbing me. You must have a key made.
That made me literally cringe. Not the most flattering example of Asian American men, right? I have this painful memory when I was in college, Romeo Must Die. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Jet Li, Aaliyah, DMX. The whole story was built for Jet Li, the hero to get the girl. And then at the end, when the kiss is supposed to happen...
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Nothing. If that were a non-Asian man, he gets to kiss the girl. Andrew, there's obviously a disconnect with the way American culture views Asian men and how we view ourselves. I mean, what's this divide about? Why is it so uncomfortable for America to see us this way?
Yeah, I think it is so strongly correlated with representation, not just in media, but in avenues like sports or in cooking or a lot of these very visible kind of spaces, because people oftentimes don't have that association of what it means or what it's supposed to look like to be an Asian American man. And they just kind of lean on some of these stereotypes that we just saw, you know, at Mickey Rooney at Breakfast at Tiffany's. And so that's what people kind of lean on when they think about the desirability of Asian Americans. And oftentimes that's a disconnect to us because, you know, as Asian American men, we can come into kind of our own confidence and our own skin and understanding what masculinity means to us. But I think there's a huge disconnect with how media portrays us and how we kind of feel. So I think that gap is narrowing, but we still have a long way to go in terms of representing some of these more nuanced experiences.
Vincent, we've seen so many times in the past, we've seen Yellowface, martial arts roles, Joy Luck Club. 25 years later, Crazy Rich Asians. I mean, why do you think it took so long for Asians to get back on the big screen?
Well, I think, you know, the media industry has been very racist. It's also been very sexist. And so that shouldn't surprise us too much. I think that what's starting to break things open is, you know, folks like, you know, our panel here, we're demonstrating that, you know, non-Asians will watch Asian content, right? And then also knowing that, you know, now the audience is much more global and that around the world we are more of a global plurality rather than just a minority group. So I think a lot of the market forces are sort of driving that. But I also think it's like people who've been pioneers who are proving that, you know, we can do anything. It's not just about having, you know, one film, but actually having dozens and dozens of films that sort of show, you know, all of our different ethnic groups, all the different ways we can be strong men, you know, all the different careers and pursuits of life that really embody who we are. So I'm optimistic that some part of this is opening up, but you know, the reason why it took so long has less to do with us and has more to do with the way the system has been set up.
Yeah, no kidding. Philip, what do you make of the love towards, speaking of the system, the love towards Asian-led successes like Parasite, Crazy Rich Asians, Minari, and then you juxtapose that to the reality that we're seeing of the anti-Asian hate? I mean, how do you make sense of that?
It's something that I've been wrestling with like this whole past year during the pandemic. It's like I was saying earlier before, it's knowing that there's essentially like two Americas, and this is not anything new to any marginalized group. We know that there's certain systems and certain things at play that will keep minority groups where they want them to be, but then prop them up when they want to feel like they want to give themselves a pat on the back. But now I think is the time where we're finally saying no more, we're speaking up, and I think that's great. And just real quick to comment on just the question earlier about just why Hollywood is so uncomfortable, just as someone who has been trying to make films during that 25-year drought, you know, it's not like there was no one that was trying. It really was executives and the system not believing that there was a space for us. I literally in 2008 was shopping a film around and had production companies straight up say, no one will buy this. This is a bad business decision if you want to have Asian leads. And thankfully, at the time, we already had our fan base kind of growing online. And that's when we said, okay, you know what? Hollywood's not ready for us. The fact that there's a recent study that said that most of America can't even name, you know, an Asian celebrity, like that just shows you how othered we already are. Yeah. And so when you try to ask someone, hey, what do you think of Asians or Asian men? Like, of course they're going to think like, oh, that's weird, that's strange, that's foreign to me. So it trickles down from a lot of different places.
Stephen, whitewashing. We know it's a problem. It's a pretty easy solution. We know how to fix it. But I want to ask you sort of how it makes you feel. You know, ScarJo, Tilda Swinton in Doctor Strange, Emma Stone in Aloha, Tom Cruise in Last Samurai. It goes on and on. When you see that as a representation of Asian Americans, what message does that send to you?
Personally, how it makes me feel, you know, as somebody who is in media, who makes digital content, it's part of why I was kind of forced to go into making YouTube content, into digital content, and it's also part of why that is super important as well. I think, you know, with whitewashing, I've always felt like earlier on in my career, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, but I think looking back, I'm now realizing, no, that was not okay, and it never was okay. And I think now I have the confidence, and I know that our community has the confidence and the voice to start speaking up about it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.